Hello and welcome to the fourth video in our Causal for Finance series. If you're an early stage startup or small business using QuickBooks or Xero, then this series is for you. We'll be showing you how to build and automate all of your core financial reporting, planning, and budgeting processes in Causal. So far in the series, we've set up a custom P&L connected to your accounting system, a detailed headcount and hiring plan connected to your HR system, and a detailed revenue forecast, and all of these models are linked together. In this video, we'll be setting up a budget that we can use to track our spending and company performance throughout the year. We'll also be setting up a process to automatically pull in our data each month from our accounting and HR systems and compare it to our budget so that we can see how we're tracking. Let's dive in. So I'm back in Causal. I've got my core financial model, which has my P&L. I've got my standalone revenue model and my separate headcount and hiring plan, both of which are flowing through into the P&L. So let's just open up the P&L model. One handy tip is that you can favorite different models that you want to keep coming back to. And so that just sort of separates them out. And so the P&L is probably my main thing that I'll be looking at. So I'll just favorite that and enter my P&L. So this is our P&L model. We've got the revenue forecast flowing in from the revenue model. We've got the payroll forecast flowing in from the headcount model. And so far we have data all the way until December 2022. You can see it says last actuals December 2022. So we've got data until December 2022. Let's just suppose that we are back in December 2022. We're locking in the budget for 2023. We're happy with the numbers that we have in here for 2023. We've generated these numbers using different assumptions, kind of driver-based forecasting or budgeting. If we wanted, we could also go into any of these cells and hard code some numbers. If we know that, hey, in September, we've got a big professional services contract coming up, and so this is going to be 60K, we could go into the cell for September and just override that manually. I'll just undo that for now. So once we're happy with the forward-looking numbers here, we're going to save a budget version. And to do that, we'll click on the versions button in the top right of the screen. It looks like a clock winding back in time. This will open up the version history in Causal. You'll see that as we've been making changes, Causal has been taking different snapshots of our model, which we can roll back to in case we mess anything up. In this case, what we're going to do is actually save a new version, and we're going to call this our 2023 budget, and we'll hit create. What this will do is create a named version for our 2023 budget. No matter what changes are made to the model, no matter what data comes in, we'll always have these numbers that we can refer back to. So we've got our 2023 budget. What we'll now want to do is go into our dashboard and maybe click on some of our charts and tables here, maybe our detailed P&L. And we might want to see one column in here for the budget and one column for the actuals, and then a comparison between the two. Let's see how we can set that up. If we click on the edit button in the top right of the table, we'll see the table editor. And in the columns section here on the side, what we can do is we can add the version item here. Now, if we click on this version item, we can customize it. And so what we want to say is that the base version should be the 2023 budget that we've just saved. The additional versions should be the actuals, and maybe we can keep the current version in there as well. And you'll see that as we've been doing that, Causal has been generating all of these different columns. And so for 2023, we've got the 2023 budget version, we've got the current version, and we've got the actuals, but obviously there's no actuals coming in yet. So we've set up the infrastructure that'll let us do these automatic budget to actuals comparisons. Let's go back into the spreadsheet now and suppose that we've come back after the new year, and we now have a bunch of data for 2023, some time has passed and actuals have come in. The way we can bring the latest actuals into the model is by clicking on this button that says last actuals. It'll tell us that actually we have new data available up to October 2023. So, maybe 9 months have passed. We can go and click through to October 2023. And what this will do is roll forward all of our models that are linked here, and we can customize which models we want to roll forward if we want. It'll roll forward all the data sources and all the models that are connected to this model to bring in the latest data until October 2023 and to update that last actuals date so that Causal knows that anything after October 2023 should be considered a forecast. Anything before October 2023 should be considered actuals. We also have a setting to save a version for these models just to have that that kind of record in case for whatever reason you might want to roll back. We're not going to bother clicking that for now. We're happy with refreshing our P&L, our balance sheet, our headcount data, and we're happy for the last actuals to be updated for our other models as well. These other models aren't actually connected to data, and so maybe we'd actually want to not change those, but it completely depends on how you've set things up. And so we'll now just hit apply. What this will do is now update the last actuals date to October. You'll see that now it says last actuals in October. And if we take a look at our dashboard, what we should be able to see in our detailed P&L is if we scroll across to 2023, we have the 2023 budget. We have the actuals version. We can see the variance for all of these different items. For some things we're above, for some things we're below. We can see the difference for each of these. We can drill down into specific months in 2023 and see exactly what's going on in those months as well. And this is how we can kind of automate that process. Now, the second piece to the automation is that maybe we want to tell Causal, hey, once a month, I shouldn't have to manually click on last actuals or anything like this. Just once a month, update the data at a certain date every month, and then do it that way. So what we can do is we can go into our data source down here, into the profit and loss, and click on these three dots, and click on see more options. In this overview tab, we can set up an auto refresh. So we can say, hey, we want to refresh this every month. Maybe it takes us 10 days to close the books. So every 10th of each month, we want to update the data. And now we've set up this auto refresh, and we can go through and do the same for the balance sheet. So we'll select the balance sheet, we'll click on the three dots, see more options, and set up auto refresh monthly on the 10th of each month. And so that's how you can set things up to automatically pull in new data, and whoever we've shared our charts and tables with in the dashboard, they'll be able to see the budget versus actuals comparison here. Now, the same concepts apply if we decide after a few months that we want to update some of our assumptions. Maybe we're going to be less optimistic about revenue growth, stuff like this. We can then go into the version, save a new version. It might be our Q3 reforecast. We'll save that as a version. Just as we added the budget version to our charts and tables, we can go into the dashboard, we can go into charts and tables, and we can add the reforecast version in here. And so there's really no limit to how many versions you can have and how many comparisons you're doing. And you can set those up on the fly. And obviously, as the current version of the model changes, the current column will be changing as well. That's it for this video. In the next and final video of our Causal for Finance series, we will be showing you how you can share different views with different stakeholders to keep your team and investors on the same page. I'll see you there.